各位听众朋友大家好，欢迎再次收听史麦微Show之 Podcast。大来宾 Susan 噔噔噔噔，Hazie 噔噔噔噔，自己想象这个画面好不好 ？Listeners， 好，今天我们要跟大家聊的是 financial management， 尤其有一个很棒的那个 term，financial independence retire early。我常常听到很多人说，理财规划就是为了要 retire early。但是人生真的是只有工作跟退休，然后退休之后要干嘛呢？好，但是不管是什么话题，都离不开 money talks。我们今天要跟大家聊一下 money 对你的重要性如何？你视 money 为什么 ，money 就视你为什么 ？OK，so 我们这一集从 Hazie 开始来。So what money means to you? How important money is to you? And since you were little, or when you started to feel or know money is quite worth amazingly, wonderfully. Money can buy love, money can buy food for sure, but is money that important to buy anything you want? All right, go ahead, Hazie.
Interesting. So I guess before, and I mean between up to the age of 20, I saw my parents counting money and worrying about money and talking about money is a problem. Money is a problem for them.
Yeah.
And if you buy something and you have a loan, you have to pay back. You're always living paycheck to paycheck. And I thought that is the only way. But after the age of 20 and meeting some people and reading some particular books, namely 4-Hour Work Week, which we've discussed before, and How to Own the World, which is a book about long-term investment. And these books gave me a lot more confidence, which rather than financial independence, retire early, this mindset, I got more of like a financial freedom and retire now. Like
cool.
in the 4-Hour Work Week, he talks about becoming the new rich, where it's kind of like rather than living in and saving now and working very hard to save all your money for some golden future. You live your golden future now while also saving money and just making different kind of alternative choices than what society might guide you to do. Like if it doesn't make sense to buy a house right now, you don't need to buy a house. It doesn't have to be the end goal. If it makes sense to rent now and use your money and save some and invest it, it will be worth more later, and maybe you will get that opportunity later down the line. So to answer your question, before, I had this idea that money was powerful, necessary, and very practical, and I needed in my life, and my daily activities should revolve around this. But now I've got a I believe, more healthy and not the typical mindset, but I think money is a tool. I try not to get emotionally attached to money. And one of my friends said to me recently, because I've not been working for 2 years, I'm living on my savings and supporting myself while I'm studying a master's degree and living here in Taiwan. Yes, I did some freelancing and things to kind of keep floating, but my savings is dipping, and sometimes I did worry. And my kind friend reminded me, what is £1,000 now if you're going to earn £100,000 in the future? And he just reminded me, like, money is not something to cling to. Like this book that you've got here, Die with Zero. When you die, your money, all this wealth you've built, doesn't mean anything. Money is a tool to get the lifestyle, the things you want, but it's not going to buy love. It's not going to buy
definitely not gonna
buy happiness. You can have all the money in the world and still not be happy. I've seen many celebrities.
That's really true.
They're very successful, but perhaps they don't really find happiness. So if you can't be happy in this moment, then
financially successful, but romantically sad is something
perhaps.
like that.
You need to find happiness within first.
People come to them for money.
Yeah, exactly.
Not for true respect or something like that. Right?
Money is perhaps evil
Wow.
in some people's words, but for me it's just a tool. If you don't attach your emotion to it, it's just a tool like anything else. That's my view.
You can see it as a divine thing or evil thing, but to me, money is neutral.
Yeah, exactly. Neutral tool.
Yeah, neutral tool. It depends how you use it.
Exactly.
Like a knife, you can use it cut, meat, vegetable. You can use kill people. It all depends on how you use it, right? Okay, 这是我们Hazie对钱的看法。What about you, Susan?
I think asking yourself, is money matter? It's more about asking what is your value? Like, what is the value?
Good wording.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could have 10,000, 100,000, whatever, 1 billion, 1 million. But what is value to you? Because I saw too many people, they are rich, but their life is bored.
Miserable.
Yeah.
Trapped, right?
Yeah. And because they're rich, so they're able to do a lot of things, but they don't have the mindset to enjoy things.
All the time. is
Yeah.
often the case.
So I know some people, he feel like traveling is really boring. He feel like sightseeing is boring because he doesn't understand what it is. But he's got a really deep pocket to done all that. So I don't think money is gonna solve your life, to be honest. There's a lot of things that happen that money can solve. It could help, it could assist you. Yeah. Like I could share a story about happiness because I've been through a bit of financial situation a couple years ago, and the things I like to do the most during that time is to borrow a book in the library, and I drive to the beach and have a nice chair there and just read books. And I feel super happy doing that, super relaxed, and I'm really happy I could say that.
Without worrying about money?
The point is I'm saying the activity I done is free. It's free. It's free.
I see.
It costs me nothing.
Okay.
But I got everything inside the books. I got
Yes.
a really deep story. I got a lot of information I could from the books, and I look at the sea. I feel so happiness. And in the same time, my friend, she earned her salary is great, and she go to like Korea to follow some K-pop things. But she actually suffered a bit of anxious by that because every time the K-pop will have the new product or have a new album coming out or having a new concert, she have to spend more money to follow it. And there's just so many comparison between it. Yeah. And I say, I just stay at the beach. So I'm poorer than her, but I need to say I'm happy. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you mentioned about some people they're rich, however they are not happy.
Yeah.
But I got some questions. Number one, how they get rich?
How they get
How they
rich?
get the money?
Oh, okay. Okay. I could. That friend of mine, he is a firefighter, and as a firefighter, the salary is quite good. But right now, he's doing the technical member in a boat. It's a really tough job because you need to stay at a boat for half of a year, and it's quite dangerous. But you earn a lot of money. So, he chose a really tough path. Tough and stable path to earn money. And maybe a couple years later, like 5 or 6 years later, he could have tons of money and he could invest a lot of things in Taiwan or at Vietnam or at Thailand. That's his point. Yeah.
That's the turning point. Okay. And he got lost in money?
No, I would not lost, but I would say that his life is a bit bored. I mean, he told me that as well. He feel bored all the time. Yeah.
All right. Even he got rich,
Yeah.
you feel life is nothing or meaningless.
Yeah, a bit.
And did you ask him why?
Not really. As I think I know why. It's just like you just have to spend more time, develop your mindset, and learn about art or whatever, learn about the history or whatever, everything's behind it, the beautifulness.
Which means you gotta have a goal in your life, right? Otherwise, you lose yourself.
It's not a goal. It's more about he need to learn to see the beautiful in everyday life.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a bit hard to say.
The little things.
Yeah, the little things. Yeah.
Another thing.
If you can't be happy in this moment, no matter how many rich things you have in your life, you won't find happiness.
Yeah.
I think that's
Mindset,
oh yeah, it's value.
Yeah, the value. I could buy a really small things. It probably cost me nothing. But if I value that really well, it could be something rich for me. Yeah.
So that's why people will talk about how much money you think that person is a rich guy.
How much?
Yeah.
You mean the numbers?
There's a number, amount of money. So it's quite different, you know. To some people, you know, 100,000 is good enough for them. However, you know, billion is never enough for them. So it's quite different.
The money, I mean, the amount, you're asking for the amount of it.
Yeah.
There's not really an exact number.
See?
Yeah.
But, you know, people are easily get satisfied with just 50 grand a month. But for some people, no, they are not. Probably a couple times of 50 grains, and they can satisfy with that.
I think it's good. Be honest, because probably our both opinions kind of say that enjoy the life right now. But I think it's still good if you want to fight for the money. It's still good. I mean, do that. But you just need to realize the balance of it. Just not overworking for it. I mean, you definitely could spend like 3 to 4 years working hard, you know, to get a really nice job at a really high level. It's good things. But if you if you feel anxious or depressed for like every single days, and you probably need to take pill, you need to go therapy, then that's the point that you actually should stop a bit.
Burnout.
Yeah, that's burnout. So you definitely could go through a lot of challenge to do that. But remember, if you burn out, take rest. Yeah.
Okay. Since that we're talking about the amount and the number, right? So we would like to talk about financial independence, retire early. So how much money do you think, Susan and Hazie, you are ready for retirement? I mean, you're young, right? 20-something, 30, right? So when you really get retired, how much money you can really just, you stop thinking about money. You don't have to worry about money. You can completely live the life you want. How much money? In 30 years, when you're 60, hit a 60, around 60. Of course, including
Because I don't.
inflation.
Yeah, interesting.
Because you are too young to think about that.
No, I have a reason why I can figure out that. But let's say Hazie talk about this first.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. Hazie.
So after I read some books, like I mentioned, when I was younger and I saw my parents worrying, it's all about worrying about the future, the pension, so that when you need to stop working, you will still have some money. And I think society revolves around this idea. And that's why we push to work and we think, oh, no, but I have to work hard so that I don't work later. I also had that idea as well. But after reading these books, like 4-Hour Workweek and How to Own the World, they tell you more than working to build some invisible imaginary pension, which is you kind of pay into a bank account that you can't see, you can't access until you're older. Instead of this, it's more like building passive income and building skills for yourself that are in demand and that people will pay for your time. So I personally believe that when I reach 60 years old, perhaps I'll have multiple streams of income from things I've created or tools I've made that will bring in money like a salary rather than having one invisible bank account that comes as a pension, if that makes sense. And then with long-term investments of buying stocks, ETFs, bonds, other things like this, hopefully that will, and dividends and things like that, that should also provide some return to me. So I'm kind of given up on the idea of a pension because at least in the UK it's not a reliable idea anymore. Perhaps you get a few hundred, so maybe like 8,000 Taiwanese dollars a month from your pension. Nobody can live on this. Rent, it costs more than that alone. I decided to give up on that. I will focus into work on myself, invest in my own skills, invest in the value I can provide to the world. And I think along this path, I will build my own pension by myself. Pension being my own streams of income.
Good
so
point.
There's no fixed number that I will say, I can retire now. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. It's great. So, Hazie, you do have a very skillful financial management, and you have a great financial literacy quotient. It's quite important. It's not just about working for money. You know how to have money work for you in a very far future. I can understand that. I sense that you have that kind of financial management skill. Yeah, very good. Yeah, so that's the reason why. No wonder you can travel around the world. You got something to count on. Yeah, you have a very what is that called? Solid financial fort.
Yeah, I think I'm
keep the
confident
cash
in it.
flowing. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, including you say the dividend or something like that. Yeah,
I'm
interest.
not worried.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, good. What about you, Susan?
I would say because we're talking about retire. So the retire, the definition is when you're not working
Good one.
and you could financial support.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
We
So
gotta, we
is
gotta
that answer?
define the word
Yeah,
of
retire.
retirement.
So retire means that you don't work.
You don't have to sell your time, your energy to any company or someone else.
So am I retired now because
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
kind of-
working?
Yeah.
You're working for yourself.
So in the 4-hour work week, he talks about like mini retirements. And
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm doing now. And it gives you a freedom of mind rather than focusing on one job and one skill. I've now kind of taken a step back and I could start a new career and do something else.
Yeah.
So
Like-
it is like a mini retirement.
Like now, I don't think I'm working. I'm enjoying this conversation with my friends.
But you're not exactly retired, right?
Not really.
Yeah. So
But I don't feel I'm working.
I
I'm
think
doing
that's
something I
great.
pretty much enjoy.
yeah, I think that's the things that we need to say because for me, my mind that I don't think I will ever stop working. Like I don't hate working if you work with passion. So I think it's a bit like you, Smile. Like you probably you start your own cram school. You still sort of working now, but you don't feel the feelings of work, and you still making money. So I don't think there's going to be a really exact amount that help yourself without any working, because probably the best way in the future is that I could have my own career and it assist me continue have financial incomes, and I don't feel I still work, but I don't feel painful from work. Yeah, I think that's how I thought. But due to my situation, because I just start saving money,
Yep.
because a couple years ago I need to help out my family a lot. They are facing a really serious financial crisis, and right now I just talked to this with my friend recently. Right now I try to live a life to look at only the present time, because that's the one that matters the most. And he mentioned the topic is more like when you drive a car in the dark, so you can see the light. The most clear one is the one that close to you, and the far ones you have no idea what it is. But the only thing you have to focus is where the light can show you. Yeah, but you also driving the right path because you are on the right path. Yeah, so I feel like
I like that.
yeah. So I feel like right now that's the thing I want to do right now, because if I'm happy now, that's the most important things.
That's so inspiring, Susan. I have to say that.
No, thanks.
Yeah, it's so inspiring. Yeah. 好，那我们提到这个financial independence, retire early 之后呢，我觉得有没有什么问题 ？Any questions to talk about money or financial management or any story that I would like to share?
Yeah.
Story which is inspiring to people or
I
our
have one
listeners.
thing.
Yes.
Have you heard of ikigai?
Ikigai.
Ikigai.
No.
It's a Japanese
Japanese.
word. Ikigai. And it kind of means like reason for living. And there's 4 parts to this. So in this theory of ikigai, you have your ikigai, you have your reason for living, if you have these 4 things. So the 4 things are you find something that you enjoy doing. You should enjoy doing what you do. You should enjoy it. And it should be something you're good at, something you have some skill or ability, you know how to do it, something maybe natural skill or you've developed the skill. So you enjoy it and you're good at it. And the third thing is that it makes money. It brings in the money or the resource that you need, so you can survive in the world. So you enjoy it, you're good at it, and it makes a living. And then the last thing is that it does something for the world. So it's making the
Yeah,
world a
that's true.
better place, or it's helping to achieve something. It's making a difference. If you don't feel like it's making a difference, whatever you're working on, you might not ever really feel the satisfaction. But if you have these 4 components, that you enjoy it, you're skilled, it's making a difference somehow to the world, and it's making you a living, you have found your ikigai.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Smile, when you talk about you don't feel like you're working.
I
It
got
sounds
4.
it's ikigai. Then.
Yeah.
You got all
I have
4.
ikigai.
And this is the goal that
Yeah.
that
I'm so lucky.
it's good to strive. Yeah. So sometimes I sit down with a piece of paper and I draw those 4 circles and I write down all the things that I'm good at, my skills, what I could change the world, that brings me money, and try to find this ikigai. But I think you can't find it by writing on paper. You find it by
Time by
going out
time.
in the world.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think I found some parts in overlap, and at some point you might reach in. If you spend your energy just looking for money, you'll never reach.
Yeah,
ikigai.
that's true. That's true.
So yeah, I would like to share the idea and encourage people to research and reflect more on these things of like, what are you good at?
Ikigai
and how can you
sounds
get
really cute
Yeah.
or weird, but it turns out to be a really positive.
there? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Ikigai. So
Japanese word.
Uh-huh.
What does that mean?
She
Specific.
just told you.
I know, 4 components,
Yeah.
but is there a specific term
yeah,
in
so
English?
ikiru means to live. Ikiru.
Uh-huh.
And then
Oh.
gai, I guess, is something to do like the value. So ikigai is like the value of life. What's your purpose for living? There's some French word as well, but I can't pronounce it. So we'll stick with the
I
Japanese.
mean, this is a okay,
ikigai, purpose for living.
and it's
a
from
reason.
Japan. So do Japan have this kind of social thoughts where
It's
ikigai?
interesting, right? Because if you
Yeah.
look at Japanese society,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't look like anybody's
Yeah.
living their ikigai. They're all just living for money. But you do find some very zen people, especially older people, who have perhaps gone through their life and then around 40, 50 years old, they realize this is not how I should be spending my time. I have the skills, I have the resources, I know what I want, and I know how to contribute to the world. And
think
then they
Japan-
find the ikigai.
That's just
And
how
it's very inspiring.
fascinating Japan is,
Yeah,
because
it's
they are in the same time really strict, they're serious, but like the Zen idea is really a huge part in Japan as
Exactly.
well. Yeah.
So sometimes you meet some Japanese people who are they have found their ikigai and they're very inspiring to talk to. So
Cool.
it's a very interesting concept, and I encourage everybody to reflect on on this.
Maybe having an ikigai is the goal, is the value of if you want to make more money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And but money is not the goal anymore. At
Yeah,
that
I
point.
don't
You don't
think-
even care about it.
Yeah, I
anymore.
think you point out the answer for money is a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
节目的最后呢，我们 Hazie 提出一个很棒的 concept， ikigai。OK， 它最主要在讲4个 component， 4个元素。第一个就是你很享受你现在做的事情；第二个，这个事情是你擅长的；第三个，这个你做这件事情是可以带来收入的；最后呢，这件事情不但为你带来收入，你也为这个世界有所贡献，等于是利他也利己。对 ，authoritarianism，am I right? Contribute to others， 利他主义 ，right？ 所以你如果在做的这件事情，或是你现在在做的工作有符合这4个元素，那恭喜你 ，you are doing something not just for living, but for your life realization, self realization。我们马斯洛一个 psychology 说的，最后是应该说它5层嘛，5层的需求，从最基本的 survival 需求，到最后的一个
Self-actualization.
at the same time simultaneously 5 needs 你都满足了，很棒，这个做结尾太棒了，所以我们希望我们的听众朋友们呢，能够奉行我们这个 Hazie 节目最后跟我们分享这个 ikigai 的这个观念。好，能够有这样的观念，然后去找出，他说他自己很努力去写出来，他现在做的事情有没有这4个元素，对不对 ？You found it?
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
But I'm on the right path.
Yeah, she's
I'm
on
not
the
worried.
right-
I
she's
don't
on
think
the
it's
right path.
something you just find here. It's a path.
just
It's a
young.
journey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
年轻.
there's time.
Don't worry. What about you, Susan? Are you on the right track?
Yeah, possible. I think. Right now, I'm still working on the money part, but eventually I will. Yeah, because I'm still very young.
If you
Yeah.
can enjoy reading books on the beach, I think you're the most of the way.
yeah.
That's good.
That's good. 这个就很棒了。
That's the
尤其
lifestyle.
在
Yeah, that's a
that's
lifestyle.
right. 对你现在在这个阶段这样子是很棒的。对 OK， 尤其又是要扛这样的家庭的压力的情况下，还能够活出自己的 style，I admire you。
Thanks.
OK， 好，那我们节目就到这边了，非常感谢我们所有听众的收听，我们下次空中见，Susan Hazie，拜拜。
Thank you. Bye bye.
拜。